shelter for themselves, their families, their friends, or water, Lord. And give those the ones that pray to you what they desire, Lord. And keep us in blessed, Lord, and deliver us in knowledge to the children and those in themselves. In Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. So, I want to talk about a bit about yesterday, Christmas. Because the world was celebrating Christmas on yesterday. I want to talk about what that means to us as Christians today, especially as young children, how we can kind of observe Christmas as a holiday and a celebration. So my question is, for those that might know, when was Jesus born?
Christmas Day.
No. You can guess when Jesus was born. It's assumed that he was born on Christmas Day, but he wasn't actually born on Christmas Day. That's what I want to talk about. So who thinks they know when Jesus was born? I know. You think you might know when Jesus was born? The world might tell you it's Christmas Day. The teachers might tell you Jesus was born on Christmas Day, but he wasn't born on Christmas Day. The truth is, Jesus, we don't know the date because it was never mentioned in the Bible. Historians and theologians might tell you he was born on Christmas Day. They might tell you he was born in spring, but it was never actually revealed when Jesus was born. Simply because it's not as relevant as you think it is. It's a point. Jesus didn't even tell us to remember his birth, he told us to remember his death. Which is why we should celebrate Easter instead of Christmas. The world celebrates Christmas more like it's anything. Jesse, do you understand? So, basically, like I just mentioned, Christmas was never really like. I kind of want to explain its origin in a sense. Because when Jesus was born, there were people ruling the world. Like, they were Romans. Does anyone know Romans? How did you know Romans? Romans. Yeah, they conquered the land at that time. I want to explain where they kind of got the date of Christmas from, just for a bit of insight for you guys, because it might be hard for you to understand where Christmas originated. So of course we have the Romans, and they had many gods. They were pagan religions, because to be pagan it means to have many gods to worship. And they had a sun god who was celebrating rebirth on the same day, the 25th of December. And on that day, people started to celebrate. They started to feast and they started to give each other gifts. And on this same day, there was a Roman, I think it was a historian, that decided to round and try to estimate the date of Jesus' birth to December 25th. So they shared the same date. The assumed birth of Jesus was the same date that the Roman sun god was celebrated. And you might not know this man, but there was a Roman emperor called Constantine. And he was very well known Roman emperor because he was the first one that kind of made Christianity widespread and legal. Because back then it was very taboo to be Christian. Yeah. You could be killed for being Christian. So when this emperor came around and legalized Christianity, they started celebrating. And of course these two, the birth of Jesus, because it now became significant to Romans, and the celebration of the pagan summer, they both came together. And now you can see where this is going. It creates the kind of celebration of Christians today. And people have obviously added their own kind of myths and folklores to it. So you have people like Santa, which aren't actually part of Christmas, but Christmas was never really a thing in the first place. It was never told to celebrate. It was just a fabrication of human imagination. And something that people want to take to their advantage to use for themselves even nowadays. People might not be Christian, but they still just like to celebrate Christmas. Because it's just become tradition to people. It doesn't really have a significant meaning in a sense. I want to re-explain that to James and Jordan as well. You guys know when Jesus was born? Can you tell me when Jesus was born? I know, can you give James and Jordan a mic so they can speak up?
Jesus was born on December the 25th.
Nope. Can you guess again?
December.
Nope.
Yeah.
James, can you tell me when Jesus was born? So that's because we don't know. It'll never be known until God himself tells us. You guys should remember that Jesus' birth was never revealed. The birth date was never revealed. It's only assumed the 25th of December. Because a historian rounded the dates at 25th of December, which shared the same date as a Roman sun god's rebirth. So they celebrate the same day and it became Christmas Day. Because people started to mix the celebrations together. If that was summarizing it for you to understand. But this doesn't outrule the idea of the importance of Jesus' birth. Because if we go to Micah chapter 5 verse 2, it was a prophecy that Jesus would be born in Bethlehem in a manger. He had an importance in a sense. The return of the Messiah, or the coming of the Messiah, the first coming, wasn't just something we should take as a joke in a sense. Because Jesus still did have a purpose to come into the world to save us from all our sins. So the fact that Jesus was still born and the prophecy was fulfilled makes it important that Jesus was born. Not just the sense of Christmas kind of thing. The importance of his birth is still significant to us as Christians. So in Micah chapter 5 verse 2, I'll read it to you. But you, O Bethlehem, Ephrathah, who are too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to be the ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is from the old and ancient days. Therefore he shall give them up until time, when she who is in labor has given birth. Then the rest of his brothers shall return to the people of Israel, and he shall stand and shepherd his flock in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God. And they shall dwell secure, for he shall be great to the ends of the earth, and he shall be their peace. Amen?
Amen. Amen.
So what do you guys kind of get from that prophecy? What is it telling?
Talking about the building people make the world's peace.
Do you know what it was talking about?
Yeah, I think they're talking about what the name of Jesus.
That was the angel.
I think it's talking about
The prophecy was saying that the baby, the Messiah, would come out of Bethlehem. Because it wasn't expected for him to come out of Bethlehem. It was said in verse 2, who were too little to be among the clans of Judah. It was something seen as not as important, but something very great came out of it, if you understand that. And I mentioned before you guys came, that necessarily Christmas isn't the most important celebration to us Christians. It should be Easter, because that's when Jesus was reborn. And when Jesus was about to die, when he was breaking the bread with his disciples at the Last Supper, he told us to remember him prior to his death. And when he went to die, he gave up his life, his sinless body for our sins, the whole world's sins. Everyone that does everything bad, they can get their sins covered by Jesus' blood. So Easter, when Jesus rose up again, and he fulfilled his own prophecies, this is the kind of thing that we should keep to us the most valuable. Because this is when Jesus actually told us to remember him, and he did something for us to remember. He did something very important, and he gave the most precious gift in the world, more than any ever Christmas gift, to be honest. If you understand, he gave his own life for us, people that commit sins every day, and even might not even realize that we've done bad things. If you understand. Jesse, do you get it? Can you tell me what you understood? When was Jesus' birthday? Good answer. Ollie, when was Jesus' birthday? Hazel, when was Jesus' birthday? Good answer. Anayo, do you know when Jesus' birthday is? You don't know. Good answer. Jordan, what did you understand from today?
I understand that Easter is Christmas is not the most important event for us Christians. It's Easter, and that God dying on the cross was better than any present you could ever get, and no one knows when Jesus was born. So yes, Yeah.
Others, what did you get?
I understood that we must remember Jesus by his death, because that is what he wanted us to do as Christians.
Good. We could pray to close on this. Mommy, can we pray? Amen. God bless you.